Celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King, and to share with you on this important day as we continue our journey in the diaspora, as we come together as the people of color who have been delivered from many dangers, toils, and snares. Yet we take time to remember the stony road over which we have come. Delighted to be here with these preachers, this wonderful organization, and to congratulate them on having the vision to not let this Martin Luther King celebration bypass us. We can sleep through things and miss our opportunity to pay attention to things that need attention paid to them. And so I congratulate them on their stewardship. I also want to tell you that Reverend Brandon came to our church not long ago and just acted very foolish. Just preached himself silly. So I'm delighted with him as well as these other preachers tonight. Good to see Fenton Blaine. We served in the House of Delegates together in Richmond, and we're happy that he's here tonight. There's a word in the 9th chapter of the Gospel of John, and it simply says this: as long as it is day, we must do the works of him who sent us, because night is coming, and no man will be able to work. What Jesus is saying here is that this is your day. No matter how long you have been at it, you must be reminded that today is your day. John Wesley puts it this way: today is your day to do all the good you can, by all the means you can, all the ways you can, for all the people you can, for as long as you can. In other words, we have some time. We don't have time to waste on mindless, meaningless minutiae that adds nothing to our lives. Life is short. You need to know that today is your day to live life to its fullest. That's for young people, it's for old folks, and those in between. It's time to make our days count for something other than telephoning and texting and television. It's said that the average American, by the time they're 65, will have spent 9 years watching television. The average child spends 22 hours a week in front of the TV. It means that we have got to do something that will add some stature and some substance to our lives. Talking and texting and tweeting to the endangerment of everybody on the highway. It's a wonder all of us have not been killed. We really have to assess what we mean by I don't have time or I'm too busy. Let me check my schedule, because if we converted all of our wasted time into constructive time, we could do anything that needed to be done. If you think about all of the time we waste and all of the time that we don't do meaningful things with, and all of the things we need to do, if we would just take a look at that, we could tutor a child, take a class, pick up a new skill. We could become active in the community, go back to school, help a senior citizen. We could get out of the house and take a walk. We could take a spiritual assessment, find our gift, and then put it to use. We could come to church, and instead of just coming to chat and choose, see and be seen, we could come and do something instead of just watch others do something. Life is short. This is not a dress rehearsal, this is it. This is all you get. Carpe diem is not just a saying, but it's a way of life. You've got to seize the day. There's no time for staying in bed all day. If you find yourself with your night clothes on at noon, something's wrong. Today is your day, and as long as it's day, we've got to work while we have the chance. Martin Luther King showed us what it meant to work while it was day. He didn't have a long life, but he had a full life. And during that full life, he showed us what it means to put our best foot forward. He taught us what it meant to work while it's day, because night will surely come. And because he worked while it was day, we are the better for it. We may not have all we want, but we have all we need. We may not be where we need to be, but we certainly are further than we used to be. His life and his legacy, because he taught us that when you put your shoulder to the wheel, that God has a way of lifting us and opening doors that we thought would never be opened. John 9 is about this boy born blind. It's not a story so much about a miracle, but it's a story about God giving us the wonderful instruction that we've got to be about something. We've got to be about the business of working while it's day. The truth of the matter is that so many people miss the point. The pews are not filled tonight because there are those who miss the point. There are those who want to be involved in everything but the right thing. There are those who want to do everything but what needs to be done. This boy was blind and he needed to be healed. But the rabbis and the religious folks came together and wanted to nitpick and grasp at straws. They wanted to play 20,000 questions, but Jesus says we don't have time for that. This boy has a malady that needs to be taken care of. And so he says, I've got to turn this obstacle into an opportunity. We could talk it to death, we could diagnose it to death, but the truth is that none of that's going to help him. What we've got to do is find a way to move him from darkness to light, to move from blindness to see. We don't have time for a church meeting or a conference. We don't have time for Robert's Rules of Order. What we've got to do is take the tiger by the tail and decide that the time is now to do something about this blind boy. We who are people of color tonight have recognized for a long time that talking will not get us where we need to go. And those who will fill the malls instead of filling Martin Luther King celebrations are those who miss the opportunity to recognize that we didn't get here by shopping. Somebody had to march. Somebody had to die. Somebody had to be bitten by a dog. And the truth of the matter is that we have got to turn our obstacles into our challenges and our challenges into opportunities. I am freshly back from Senegal, from Dakar, and there I had the opportunity to go to Gorée, the island where our people, our mothers and fathers were dispatched on slave ships. I stood there at the door of no return as it looked out over the Atlantic Ocean. And I could not help but reflect upon the fact that those of us who even may want to deny that we are Africans. And some tell me today that they are not from Africa, but all you have to do is go to Africa. Every street you turn down, you'll see your cousin. And you'll see your father, and you'll see your mother. And to deny that we are of African descent is absolutely foolish. We are Africans, but we are living in America. I stood there at Gorée and I looked out over the Atlantic Ocean, and I could not help but have tears in my eyes as I remembered our mothers and our fathers who traveled across the ocean to be sold like pieces of chattel merchandise in the slavery. And it happened in many instances right in Richmond, in Lumpkin's jail, which was one of the most active slave trading posts in the United States of America. But yet we must turn our obstacles into opportunities. Because when I looked at Gorée and saw where we came from, I understood that our mothers and fathers understood that we may not have much, but we got to work with what we have. They turned that lemon into lemonade. They turned that curveball into a home run. And they became persons of skill and persons with entrepreneurial skills. And while we talk about slavery, we ought to talk about integration. Because integration perhaps did us more harm than slavery. Slavery drove us together and taught us how to lean on each other. Integration took us apart, divided our community, and took away our impetus to do for ourselves. And then we began to expect others to do for us. From slavery, we now are able to look at black mayors. We are able to look at black lawmakers in state houses. We are able to look at black governors in Massachusetts and in Virginia. We are able to look at congressmen and a senator, and even the United States of America has a black president. I tell you that God can take anything and make something out of it. So I don't want to focus on what went wrong. I want to focus on what God did with it. I want to focus on what God took out of nothing and made something. I want to focus on the fact that we were in chains and we were in shackles, but today we are able to drive nice cars and live in nice houses and have education. I want you to know that God has not forgotten us. But God has made a way when there was no way. And I want you to know that you got to work hard to stay. Because the night is coming when no man will be able to work. Work hard to stay. Because the night is coming. It's an urgent call today to find the opportunity to give the best we have while we have the chance. Life is short for the third time. And all you have is right now. All we have is this momentary affliction. And I know that we are here tonight because we want to get our work done. You see, the fact of the matter is that we don't work because we don't know what time it is. If we knew what time it is, we'd get busy. We'd get in a hurry. If we knew what time it is, people would fill the church tonight trying to get their work done. You see, daylight is an invisible commodity. And the only way to tell what time it is to take a look at yourself. Take a picture of yourself. Look in the mirror. But you know that won't do it, because when we look in the mirror, we lie to ourselves. And we tell ourselves that things are not as they seem. So I'm going to help you learn how to tell time. I'm going to help you learn how to tell what time it is. I want you to go to your class reunion. And when you go to your class reunion and you see him or her, and you think that they look older than you, I want to give you a dose of truth serum to tell you that you look like them. And the new saying is that people say that if I'm 60, it's the new 50. If I'm 50, it's the new 40. If I'm 40, it's the new 30. But I want you to know that if you're 30, you're 30. If you're 60, you're 60. I don't care how cute you want to say it. The truth of the matter is that if you were born 40 years ago, that's what you are today. The truth of the matter is that you're not getting any younger. Nor am I. Therefore, we've got to work while it is day, because night is coming when no man will be able to work. Martin Luther King only had a few days, but he did what he could while he could. And if you talk about compacting a great life into a short period of time, you've got to say that Martin Luther King did it better than anybody else could. He taught us that he had no time to waste. He utilized his wonderful education, his wonderful prophetic instruction to go forth and put himself in harm's way and allow the world to know that we have a responsibility not only to lift ourselves, but to lift as we climb. And that's a wonderful thing for today's crowd, because so many of us today are so self-centered that all we think about is me, myself, and I. Martin Luther King taught us that we must lift as we climb, that we have a generation that needs to know that God is still good. We have young people that need to know not only every rap song, but they need to know that somebody died that they might have the things they have. And we need to recognize what time it is. And then finally, we've got to find our purpose in life. Martin Luther King so wonderfully allowed us to know that when you have purpose, then you have meaning.
Yeah.
Years after his death, we are gathering to commemorate a life well lived.
Yeah.
And it is because he found his rhythm. He found his stride. He determined that he was going to live life and that he was going to live it to make a difference.
Yeah.
And what a difference he made.
Yeah.
Letters from the Birmingham jail.
Yeah.
What a difference he made.
Yeah.
The March on Washington.
Yeah.
What a difference he made.
Yeah.
I have a dream.
Yeah.
What a difference he made.
Yeah.
That men would be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. What a difference he made. That one day we would be able to come together, black people and white people and brown people and yellow people, and sing, "We shall overcome." What a difference he made. What a difference he made in your life and my life. When I was a lad growing up in Philadelphia, I thought that my destiny was on the mean streets of a large city. I went to a school and graduated from high school with an inferior education. I thought that my life was going to be modeled by those who had gone before me, who only had mediocre rises of success. But God has a way of taking what we have, and if you have purpose in your life, he has a way of turning that around. He sent me to Virginia Union, and there I was remediated because I could not do college work. They had to teach me how to read, and they had to teach me how to do college work. And I went on to finish college and then went on to get a terminal degree. Sometimes I had to pinch myself and say, "Am I that little poor boy from Philadelphia?" But when you have purpose in your life, there is no mountain that you can't climb. Finally, the Lord allowed me to become pastor of a good church. And he allowed that good church to become a great church. Then he took me to the General Assembly of Virginia, where Patrick Henry and Thomas Jefferson sat, and allowed this little poor boy to sit there in the midst of those who were there, who thought they were better than I was. They went to Harvard, and they went to Yale, they went to Tech, and they went to UVA. I went to Little Virginia Union, but we sat in the same seats. And I don't care what school they went to, because I knew that I was just as good as they were. Went on to get a terminal degree, and then went on and ran to become mayor of the city of Richmond. And now wherever I go, people know who I am. Able to make a difference and build schools and build jails so that nobody else will die in jail. To be able to do things, to give people jobs. I want you to know that God has the ability to take us from where we are. If you'll just have purpose in your life. I want you to know that if you have purpose in your life, there's no mountain too high. There's no valley too low. That God will not take you and give you power to find your speed and your place in this world in which we live. I thank God because I recognize today that in the words of Jesse Jackson, I am somebody. It may be old school, but it still means something. My nose is wide and my lips are thick, but I'm somebody. I will not allow anybody to put me down or to push me back. I will not allow anybody to make me feel inferior, because I know who I am. My skin may be dark and ebony, but I'm still somebody. I may not have everything that everybody else has, but I'm still somebody. I know I'm somebody because I'm a child of the King. I know that God created me in the image of himself. And if God made me, I am somebody. I'm somebody, and you can't put me down. You may not like me, but you better watch out. Because if God is for me, he's more than the world against me. I may not have silver and gold, but I've got the Lord. I may not have riches, but I've got the Lord. And if the Lord is on my side, if the Lord walks with me, there's nowhere I can't go. Because today is my day. Today is my day. I'm going to work while it's day. Because the night will come. And when the night comes, I want to hear him say, "Well done." When the night comes, I want to hear him say, "Servant of God, you fought a good fight. You ran a good race. You finished your course. Now come on up a little bit higher. I've got a crown. Not only for you, but for all of you who recognize that we got to work while it's day. Because the night is coming with no man.